Alrighty, hello everybody and welcome back to Osumania Long Nut Tournament 4th edition. Hope you enjoyed the previous matches, but we are back for another set of matches to continue on this block. Today we are going to be having DarkMew2 versus Malza. Going to be a very interesting match. As always, I am Sunny, and commentating along with me is going to be none other than Adam Ackerville. How's it going, Adam?
Hello, everybody. It's been, a little bit too long since I have, stepped in foot in the commentary scene again. But worry not, I'm back again. Fresh, new, better setup, better microphone, ready to do more casting in the future. So, like Sunny said, this match will be a pretty good one. We have DarkMew2 versus malza, seed 25 and seed 40 respectively. Now, quick fun fact, DarkMew2 is actually playing on the LAN setup right now. So, do what you want with that information, but that's just, some slight information you may want to know.
Yeah, so potentially DarkMew, don't know if it's an advantage or a disadvantage, maybe not, might even affect their gameplay in general. But DarkMew2 very, very strong in that LN department. They have exceeded a lot better in that more density format, just going off of their qualifier results. But they do heavily, well, not very heavily, but they do lack in that technical department. And it's pretty much the same story for malza, actually. They do dip a little bit in that more technical field. So I feel like once those protect and ban waves come through, I feel like these two players will both maybe eye on those technical maps just to avoid.
Yeah, and a little bit of a backstory. Well, not really. A little bit of a preview of what these players can do. So DarkMew2, his name has been in the Mania scene for a couple of years already. He was actually a player as well back in OMLN4 a few years ago, playing in the same edition as I did, and actually got the chance to face him in, if I'm not wrong, quarterfinals, but losing to him by 2 points lead. So when I was playing with him, that was a few years ago, he did really, really good on the density side. I stood no chance. On the coordination side, maybe malza has it a little bit of an advantage, but we'll see. It's been, like I said, a couple of years as well. That, and he's also playing in a LAN event right now on a completely foreign setup. So we will see how well he will fare up with the current LAN setup he's playing.
Yeah, gonna be a bit of an interesting way on how DarkMew will project this match, especially with that LAN setup. But they will get the first protect. I believe malza did win the role, so they will get that first pick by default. And they are going to protect coordination too. Not very surprising, honestly. I feel coordination, kind of like the vanilla of this pool. You can't really go wrong with some classic coordination, and especially with a pick like coordination 2, I feel that's probably where DarkMew2 is going to probably hover around in that coordination. Maybe dip into that density if they feel like it. And for malza, I feel as they protect, they might dive also into that coordination range as well. Maybe something like Phony could get that protect from malza. I feel these two are both comfortable enough in that range.
I feel like it's either one of the coordination, like you said, or they want to be a little bit different since wildcard. There we go. I was gonna say it's either they will be going for a technical pick or a wildcard pick, since DarkMew has, of course, already protected a coordination. Maybe that will make him less want to protect a coordination map of their own and choose something else they are more comfortable with. And they will be banning coordination 1 Painted Dreams out of the match for this one.
Bit of an interesting ban, honestly. I feel maybe coordination 1, they just have a bit of struggle on those more releases that, like, I don't know how to really put it well, but I know there's like those really interesting like 3-note releases that I feel maybe does catch up Malza potentially. Overall, very tricky coordination chart, but I think also the consistency you need on a chart like Painted Dreams does also get the best of you. It is a pretty easy chart to generate 200s, and I don't think you want to give that much leniency towards a such consistent powerhouse like DarkMew. And speaking of DarkMew, maybe their ban
Density 2?
Density.
Okay.
Whoa. Okay, that's a bit interesting.
I personally
was not expecting
know,
that.
yeah, DarkMew has the physicality and density skill set to actually play the density maps. So I'm actually pretty shocked that he decided to ban a density chart. And going back on Malza's earlier ban on Painted Dreams, maybe it's because of the OD buff. The map's old.
Yeah.
The map got OD buffed to at least balance it a little bit. But it's either honestly Coordination 1 with the OD buff or Phony with the more, I guess, Mysterian kind of LN release. It's really hard to verbalize how those releases are charted, but that's the best way. And Malza will actually be picking Tech 3 Thermodynamic, also known as Acheron for you Geometry Dash players.
Yeah, this has definitely been the fan favorites for these players. I think I've seen this map get played in practically almost every match. This God forbid Geometry Dash song, but honestly, I was not expecting that the technical range to get this much attention. Both of these players did lack in that tech department, like I mentioned earlier in the stream when I was introducing these two players. I think both of their lowest seedings were on the technical files, but maybe since the qualifiers were buffed up just a tad bit, we did turn things a notch down or two for the round of 64 stage. So things maybe will get a bit more comfortable for these players. But here we go, underway with Technical 3.
Yeah, going back on the qualifier, like Sunny said, in my opinion, the qualifier side on the technical side, I do need to say is definitely way tougher than what we are having for round 64. So maybe Malza picked it because it's more on the comfortable difficulty range for him. That and also seeding means nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we have definitely, especially in a stacked tournament like this, where I believe even like there were a bunch of shockers when it came to the seeding reveals. And I mean, oh my goodness, comparing to last year, this is an insane
by last year, you mean 2
players.
or 3 years ago?
Yeah, 200 years ago.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I mean, it has been a while, but we have a lot of new and improved long note players, and I mean, you could definitely see through that just the insane stacked 64 players we've got. But anywho, going to this map, we are reaching the back half of this very technical chart. You do get a bit of a break section here. Malza's accuracy a bit, I mean, it's not that bad, but a bit lackluster in contrast to DarkMew right now, having that lead just by a solid amount. Before we kind of head back into the main section of this chart, we do get a bit of a break here with some shields.
Personally, in my opinion, where the accuracy section or the tough section comes is usually always at the second half, because that's just more on the nerf regarding accuracy and, of course, combo when playing in the actual lobby compared to practice.
Yeah, you do have a lot of these very awkward to hit, like very awkward releases, and also trying to balance out these shields. Not the easiest to combo, and even then, one late release or just a single 200 or maybe even a 100 could flip the entire script. And I mean, that's only a difference of roughly 3,000 points. And right now, DarkMew still managing to keep things ahead in their field. And honestly, as long as they can keep their consistency they've had this entire map, this should be an easy walk home. And yes, DarkMew going
That's
to
the break point already, actually.
Yeah, in a very early break point for DarkMew.
Yeah.
992K, almost 993 from them, and Malza just shy of that 990 threshold. I think those releases did get the best of them, especially with that 200 count. But nonetheless, very early breakpoint off of DarkMew.
Yeah, very respectable ratio from both players as well. Just about 80, 300 difference, I guess.
Yes. And also, you have to take into account really that ratio as well. I believe I can't remember the difference now. The score is long. Okay, I believe that was about 8300s or so of difference. So not too much of it's not entirely an insane lead for DarkMew. That was pretty close, and I think even just a couple more 200s could have rewrote that script here. And we are gonna get into our next pick here. It's actually gonna be phony. So we're gonna jump into that coordination round.
Incoming. Let's go.
Let's go.
We love to see. We love to see coordination. Get that hype a little bit.
I feel this has also been another. I mean, lots of these maps have been fan favorites, but I have seen a lot
fan
of hype,
favorites and bangers. Yeah, honestly.
Exactly. Also, we're bringing out all the Unk maps as well, such as Coordination 1. This map's also pretty old. This has been around for what, 3 years, I think. I think
the one you're talking about is the Coordination 2. If I'm not wrong, this should be a custom, unless I have dementia. But yeah, this should be the custom map Coordination 3. I forgot, but
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many phony maps.
There's a lot of phony maps. There's a lot of very unk maps out there. The way I describe this pool is it's a mix of nostalgic maps from 2 to 3 years ago that couldn't be placed in the previous edition, that is placed early game in this edition now due to how much the players have improved. And we have some custom maps as well and newer maps for the new gens. So it's basically a mix of both reception, both for the unks and for the newer players,
Yeah, and as we head into the first chorus of the chart, where these coordination, nothing really too major to write home about. I believe like these pretty tame coordination patterns won't really catch up these players. But I did notice DarkMew was actually trailing behind just a tad bit early on. But Malza, I believe, traded maybe a couple 200s back in DarkMew's favor. They have been picking up a lot of 200s on these more release-based sections, while DarkMew has managed to contain those releases a lot better. These shields as well, not really affecting them this much. And now it's a 10th of a percentage in favor of DarkMew, but still not much at all. We have only hit the back half of this chart. And this goes on for, I think, maybe 3 minutes or so. So you still have a lot of room for error. Yeah,
this is the if I'm not wrong, yes, full version of the song, but during the second half is no pushover as well. We will be having the back chorus happening again. That's when we get more of the release. And especially this solo section, if I'm not wrong, just one slick up can, be detrimental. For example, a increase in 200 drops or ratio drop, even a miss, that could slide the lead straight back to malza instantly. Oh, and I just say that DarkMew found a few drops after the solo.
I think that might have been a slider break from DarkMew, but either way, that is still a break. And although Malza tying up DarkMew in accuracy, I feel if they can hit that 400 combo cap and DarkMew find something detrimental in return, I think even just a major accuracy drop could be the deciding factor. But if Malza refuses to give up, they have been so consistent this entire map. And I mean, the time of this map is starting to dwindle up. There's really not much map left, and DarkMew safely gonna walk away with a back-to-back breakpoints.
Wow, a score difference of 2,000.
Wow.
Just slightly over 2,000. Better ratio from DarkMew, but due to after the solo section, he found a few drops on the long note piece.
3,000 points of difference.
Malza with yet again a barely not reaching the 990k mark, but it's slightly just barely enough to hold it in. And was not able to get out ratioed or out act by DarkMew, holding up that accuracy.
Yeah, and Malza
And
safely gonna
ooh,
walk
straight
away.
away into wildcard 2.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna. I would assume gonna be Malza's more and more comfort range, as they did protect Wildcard 3 based, by the way. Very. I feel like they're gonna probably stick around in that wildcard range for their next couple of picks.
My
And
opinion is that they would probably go with the wildcard once all the wildcards is out of the bag. Maybe the technical pick, because knowing DarkMew, he has the physicality. That and his long note accuracy as of now. Even though he's at a LAN, he still has the potential to out-ratio him, as we've seen from the coordination map and technical pick already.
yeah, DarkMew just absolutely, just really like destroying the more ratio component side of things. So maybe Malza, maybe their lens here is just going to be trying to offer more of those more complex charts, hence these wild cards here, and maybe see if they can catch up DarkMew in just a sheer, maybe just extra 200s. Or I mean, we did see a slider break on Phony, which gave Malza the points, even though DarkMew was better in the accuracy department, the ratio, and everything. So opting for a pick like this, where lots of these very tight releases, lots of like pretty much the map changing their patterns left and right. I feel it's a pretty safe zone for Malza. Right now, they've been steadying this lead on their side.
In my opinion, this is probably the most act heavy, well, hardest to act in the wildcard section, because like Sunny said, we have a lot of tight releases in this map. Like, if I'm not wrong, 1/8 long note snap, that with a bit of polyrhythmic section with the 1/8 snap makes it really hard to act it properly, because if you hold it too long, you may get 200, 150, all that. You have to be really on your toe to act it properly. There was a slight lead towards malza at the beginning, but as we go into the second half now, a slight accuracy lead is going back to DarkMew now, as they are able to catch up in their composure, getting used to these releases by now, as we go into the last quarter of the map slowly but steadily.
Yeah, and especially with this more math rock song decision, you have lots of these time signatures that are a bit unique in changing up in rhythm. So like you mentioned, with that more polyrhythmic sounding, and actually Malza dropping a steady amount of accuracy. They are now resting at that 99.7 threshold, while DarkMew slowly regaining that lead they have, and right now towering over by roughly 2,000 points. So nothing too much to really write home about here. But I mean, with this map slowly running out of time, you don't really have much outside of these more abrasive. Yeah, this is the ending. I'm about to touch up upon these more abrasive releases, and more of these awkward releases as well, where they're all timed very differently.
Yeah, but DarkMew just holding it out. Holding it out and securing their second break point. Almost 993 yet again, securing their second break point of the match. It's 3 break points back to back to back already. And on the ratio game, wow. malza actually has the better ratio. It's just that DarkMew, I forgot he's a consistency demon. He rarely drops 200s count. So malza dropped a little bit too much of the 200 counts there. I'm thinking maybe it's because of the 1/8 long note that was mapped, that's why the accuracy dropped, and he just couldn't keep up with the momentum until the end with the lead that he had, while DarkMew capitalized on it. But wow, straight away we're going into wildcard 1. Wildcard after the next.
I think this is a bit risky from DarkMew to go for, but I mean, maybe on how we saw wildcard 2 go for, you don't want to dive into your opponent's protect, so go with the other remaining wildcard that is left on the board, which will be wildcard 1 here. And then again, a lot more of that like jazz oriented wild cards we have seen. So just, I mean, there have been a ton of these more jazzy LNs, especially in recent times. If you can recall from last year's Mania World Cup, we had a fight in Tunisia, which I feel does follow that criteria just a bit. I mean, it is mapped by the same mapper of Alexire, so definitely could follow that same criteria here with just more of these time signatures being a bit weird, like these rhythms kind of changing on a whim, and really just these releases just going off of what you're hearing, like the pianos here. And right now, oh my goodness, this is a very close opening.
Yeah, just only about, basically there's no lead at the beginning. Both of them are about the same accuracy, trading it back and forth. In my opinion, for this wildcard pick, this is more on the conventional coordination type compared to wildcard 2, where it's more on the, I guess, slightly more on the technical-ish side on release, since, you know, despite the timing signatures on this jazzy music, we know we love jazz, so there is some, you know, change of snaps here and there, but this should be more or less of a coordination conventional pick in the wildcard side, hence the name wildcard, you know. We also have wildcard 3, which is more on the density side, so that's what you will be seeing more on what wildcard is.
Yeah, a lot more of just that wildcard being kind of a blend of just basically two patterns. And oh, those are a lot of 200s.
About 4 or 5.
Yeah, on the
from
side
malza.
Of malza. And yeah, that is really gonna throw a giant dent in the score we have so far. And I mean, not by much, but still, I mean, when it comes to these two, consistency is basically their middle name. So I feel like with even just those couple 200s, I don't know if DarkMew will have the time to swing anything back in favor of malza, especially like you mentioned, they are a consistency demon. So I feel as if unless DarkMew finds something catastrophical in this final quarter or even final sixth of the map, I don't think malza will get anything back in return. And I think maybe this breakpoint streak can end.
Yeah, he's just capitalizing on how, you know, his release is at the current moment. It's nice, it feels good, his coordination is on the line, and he's being a consistency demon right now. 200 drop at the end, but it does nothing. 995k against 992k. With a V1SS choke at the end, actually.
Oh my. Still, incredible scores all around the board. Double 990s. It just, once again, comes down to just DarkMew having crazy release capabilities. And I mean, that definitely will play a big role in this early game component. And right now, DarkMew2 going up 3 points to 1, but it is malza's pick of the litter. I feel maybe we could see that is banned. We could potentially maybe see that protect coming out here. Maybe
that protect, or you know what I love, you know. We all know what I
want to see. I just want to see the whole Shadow Marine map, please.
Density 1, Mind Destroyed.
Oh, okay. Interesting pick, honestly.
Let's run down memory lane on this map, shall we? It's another Unk status map. Like I said, this pool is full of Unks. This pool is mix of Unk, new maps, and custom, and this is one of the Unk map from 2 to 3 years ago, if I'm not wrong. This was used, what tournament was this used again? I remember, I think this was used in AMM or something. It's 1 or 2 tournament.
I know this was used in like Combro's tournament back in 2022.
Oh yeah, that was, basically this is a very Unk status. Not very, but it's just a Unk status map comparing to what these new gen players are playing nowadays. It's not what they are used to.
This was Philippine Nationals 2022.
Oh, this was used in Philippines NAS? Yo,
yeah,
shout outs to my fellow Filipinos, dude. Shout outs to my fellow Filipinos out in the world watching, even though it's almost 12 in the morning for them.
I know there's some nocturnal Filipinos out there, but anywho, opting for a pick like this, I mean, I feel as if maybe DarkMew2 is just really going to capitalize off of their ratio game here, because this map, although it is that density component I feel, especially with these players, they are absolutely cracked, and I think the density won't really play a big role in a map that says density as its skill set. I don't think it's really going to be that major of a deal. It's just going to come down to that accuracy component. And I mean, with this map being pretty release heavy, it's definitely benefiting DarkMew in the long run. But then again, there is some components of this chart where there are choking points, especially where it's like full density. We could potentially see some 200s on the side of DarkMew if they release maybe a bit too late or a bit too early.
Correct, and let me reiterate, like I said at the beginning of this match, I've played against DarkMew before, back in OMLN, and back then, yeah, my density still sucked, but I basically caught a glimpse of how good his density was already back in the third edition of OMLN 2 years or 3 years ago. I forgot when that was. It was a while ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah, that's a while ago, you know? And yes, 3 years ago is pretty long for the long note scene, because we have seen so many players gotten better, but please don't forget that some unks are still keeping up with this game, enhancing and polishing their skill. DarkMew seems to be one of those players from back 2022 still polishing their long note, especially the density, 99.82%, not letting it down. But malza is also not letting it down, 99.79%, only a slight margin.
malza is not too far behind from DarkMew. And I mean, we are nearing the dying seconds of this map. I don't think it's really going to be much in favor as the map comes to a close. DarkMew2 going to be put on match point situation. And then again, those 200s from malza really set the nails in the coffin. They out-ratio DarkMew. It's just, I feel those releases were a bit too heavy on them, and dropping maybe a bit too, like, 5 or 6 200s too much. And with that, I think that's also on a break point as well. And DarkMew on a break point in match point situation, I think they still have their protect on the board, which is coordination 2. And yep, they're immediately
they're going for it. Immediately.
Carbon dioxide, I love that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Sorry to say this real quick,
CO2.
but yeah, we do have a second stream ongoing right now, and coming in, very sour, just barely won against Leon on density 3 by 11 points.
Oh my god.
11 points.
11.
But yes.
Are we?
Yeah,
being
slight
for real?
detour. Yeah, I'm being for real. Slight detour from this ongoing match, but after this, you guys can go watch it if it's still ongoing. But without further ado, here we go, jumping into coordination to also DarkMew2's Protect. This is also another status map from around 2021, 2022, about the same time zone as when OMLN4 started, but has no slot.
I believe this was 2022, because I do recall this being in, I think soft 6 if I'm correct. But this is, then again, kind of like the same situation with Painted Dreams. I did get that OD8 buff, so it's gonna be a bit interesting. Yeah, this is 2019.
That's even older. That's when I started the game.
Oh my god. And wait,
yeah.
what? malza had a very, very big lead for a second. I think they were at a 99.88 for like a bit, while I believe DarkMew was at 99.75. But now it seems like things have turned.
Yeah, it's just DarkMew. Knowing him, he probably messed up a little bit of accuracy at the beginning, but slowly capitalizing on the comfort of ratios slowly and catching up to malza, as we see here, only by 0.04%-ish approximate. It can go anywhere. One miss or 200 drop can indeed changed the lead. Like I said, just now a 200 drop came from DarkMew2, but there's still a slight lead towards him, but it's not that big of a margin. For older maps like this, there's a lot of OD changes, especially increase of OD. Similar to Painted Dreams, this is also one of them. The density side just came in and it's just slowly going into the end right here.
Yeah, that lead is slowly flickering back and forth. There are stripes of blue, but I don't think... I mean, the accuracies are starting to get closer, but I think we're got to see more come out of DarkMew if Malza wants to stay in the winner's bracket.
Inverse?
But
full inverse?
the full inverse coming in, but it's not going to matter. DarkMew2 is going to win this match 5-1. And wow. It feels like that could have went to, I think, even a tiebreaker if I feel we could have saw a tiebreaker.
It's super close no matter what, actually.
Yeah. If that ratio was just improved just by a slight margin on the side of Malza, I feel DarkMew could have taken... I feel like Malza could have went to a tiebreaker there, but nonetheless, congratulations, DarkMew, for taking that match. They have punched their ticket into the round of 32, which will be next week.
Yep, let me take a look at the bracket right now. So next week, once the